also allowed individual spending bills. He hasn't made any promises on those things though, which the former leadership had. And so I don't have any reason.
Then to rephrase the question, I guess, are you disappointed in kind of the job that's being done, like what you're passing, what's being put on the floor?
Yeah, of course I've been supportive of that since I've been here, both parties. But like I stated, it's the uniparty. He's one vote, and he's thrown in the deep end. One day he's organizing speeches on the floor on basket week, and the next day he's meeting with Benjamin Netanyahu in Israel. So yeah, it's a quick learning.
Is he a part of the uniparty?
No, I don't think so. I don't think the uniparty knows what to do with him just yet.
So does it matter who's speaker? I mean, it sounds like
it matters who's in Congress, and it matters that less than 20% of the population of the United States of America voting age decides.
Why get rid of McCarthy?
Yeah, McCarthy just came.
He didn't tell the truth. To me, he didn't. He mocked my religious faith. I mean, we've been through all that again.
Any final thoughts though? Today's his last day.
Yeah.
Do what?
Today's his last day.
I wish him well. He's going to do well. He's sitting on $17 million, which he can play in my campaign and everybody else's, and I'm sure he'll do that. And he'll go on and lobby and start off making 7 figures.
And what's your advice to Speaker Johnson moving ahead?
I told him, I said, save our country. We're going to lose our country.
I mean, what's on a practical basis? What's your advice?
That was my advice. Save our country.
How? I mean, what? You could say. Give something a little.
We're going to have to start. There are beaches to die on, and we're going to have to start dying on some of those beaches if necessary, because we've got to show the American public exactly what's going on instead of rubber stamping this nonsense that we just get.
While you were working to get Speaker Johnson, a lot of your colleagues said maybe it's time to rethink the motion to vacate at a single vote.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. I've always said if they want to do that, that's fine. I'm not going to stand in the way.
Do you think that's something that should be addressed in the new year, or is it?
Possibly, but it was always in effect until actually Speaker Pelosi took it out. So, and it had been in effect for a long time. I can't remember the exact date, but it's been for decades.
But if the votes were there, you'd be fine with it?
Yeah, I'm okay with it. That again, that's not a beach I'm going to die on.
Do you have any regrets about that? Any regrets about shutting down Congress for 3 weeks in a row?
No, nobody even talks about it now. My regret is that we haven't been able to save our economic situation. I mean, we're taking in $5 trillion, we're spending $7 trillion. It doesn't matter who's in the Speaker's office, it doesn't matter who's in the White House. We got to get past that.
How would you describe the past year?
Eventful, but it's just another. You kind of set your mark on it. My dad used to talk about, and I'm not comparing myself to a combat veteran or anything, but my dad used to talk about in combat, like on Okinawa, they would kind of get lulled into a little ease, and then the flares would go up, and they'd be back at it again. This has been so constant that he said it's a lot easier when it's constant, and this has been constant. So it's just what you come to expect.
You said eventful, but wasn't this just like made up crises? Like the debt ceiling, you guys didn't default, but that was a made up crisis. Government funding.
Because we don't have the guts to do what's right. We don't have the guts to pass a budget, which is what we should do. You ought to vote everybody out up here who won't work on a budget.
Looking into
Amen.
next year, are you concerned about the shrinking majority that the Republicans have?
No, I'm worried about the future of our country. Yeah, of course. I mean, I wish Kevin had decided to stay. He said he was in it for the fight, and he got out. Of course, you get a year out before you can become a lobbyist. Now he gets a year up on it. That puts us in the spot. So.
What do you expect from the legislative agenda next year? Have you heard about what legislation you guys are going to be putting on the floor?
Yeah, but I think it matters on what we can pass. We can talk about all that we want, but we're not getting anything to the Senate. It's always the House that's doing their work, but actually we pass it over the Senate, it just sits on a desk somewhere. And Schumer and the Democrats decide not to do anything with it. We've got to get some avenue, and that's why I did like Speaker Johnson day one. He was over there meeting with the Senate, and I think in the past we found that a lot of stuff never even left the House.
Do you think he's going to stay Speaker all the way through next year?
I think so, yeah.
Just get your thoughts on the NDAA.
It was a travesty. It allowed for sex change operations, and that is a beach to die on, because you talk about the millions of dollars. You take somebody who's mentally ill, they join the military, going to get a sex change, and it's not just the actual chopping off of bodily organs, it's a lifetime of care they're going to have. And then you're going to have a class action lawsuit when a bunch of people decide, hey, this was a huge mistake. I I'm going through mental issues, and then they're all going to get on a class action lawsuit, and they're going to sue the country for millions, if not billions of dollars, and we'll end up paying for it. But they're afraid to, everybody gets a trophy, they're afraid to offend anybody, and we got to start getting some guts, both parties.
Is there
and we don't have that right now. Our leadership, in these committees, just doesn't have that leadership.
Now, if you had issues with the current FISA system as it is there an urgency now to get a deal done?
Which one system?
FISA, the 702.
Yeah, I mean, it's a ripoff. It's a way to, and you and the press ought to be afraid of that, because it's just a way for the FBI, which has done thousands. I don't know what the number is, but I might have. Well, anyway, y'all can look it up. Thousands of times that the FBI has backdoored that to spy on American citizens.
Congressman, we saw a lot of the warts on the Republican Party this year. What are we to learn about the Republican Party next year?
Well, we're independent thinkers. The Democrats use the carrot and stick. It's explosiveness and that. They reward you with the carrot, or they beat you with the stick. And Republicans, they threaten us. They come over and say we're going to, one of the committee chairmen comes over and gets in our face and says you're all done. That kind of stuff. He's a joke. The president's not doing him any favors. His approval ratings are in the tank, and we all know that. And it's going to be, we had the first election, people voted for Trump because a lot of people love Trump, but a lot of people dislike Hillary Clinton. So now it's going to flip back around.
Yeah, it passed. I just have to finish. I did a breaker and then I ran back out here to make sure.
It should be Trump.
But what about
I don't
here in the House and the Republican majority? There's been questions about, obviously earlier in this year,
Sure.
you all were able to pass a number of bills, but then we got into the question of how effective we've been able to govern.
I think we'll be fine. Like I said, we're independent thinkers, and we're not just we shouldn't be, but we on this NDAA.
I wanted to ask you about the NDAA.
Hang on a second. My man right here pulled up.
Yeah,
Go ahead. I'll get you. I won't go anywhere.
I guess the first question is how disappointed are you in the speaker in this decision of the NDAA? And you add the CR to it as well.
Well, I think you have to look at the history of the speaker. We've made the speaker his own branch of government, or her own branch of government. Originally, it was not. They were supposed to be more of like just keep things moving along, and over history, if you read it, they kind of eroded that and taken it away from the people, which is Congress. I think we need to get back to that, the individual members. It's on the individual members because they're gutless and they won't stand up, and they say, oh, we're going to have a shutdown. Well, who the heck is talking about 21 days or whatever we were? Nobody was talking about that when we were fighting for a new speaker. So, it's just, to me, it's a bogus argument. Not you, you're not bogus, but
I just
I had too much coffee. Did I get to the point?
Yeah, you made your point. So when you look back at this Congress, has this been a productive Congress?
No. I've been here 5 years, and the biggest surprise, everybody says, what's your biggest surprise up here? That I was not surprised. No, we're constantly eroding your rights, and the reason we're doing that is because less than 20% of the American population of voting age votes, and they don't trust the voting right now. Yes, ma'am.
About the NDAA.
How'd you like I did that? Boom!
Thank you. There's a provision here that requires the Pentagon to release a report about the fallout, whether it be economically, infrastructure, cybersecurity, if we were to go to war with China. Do you think that's necessary, and why?
No, I don't. I think a war with China would be a complete disaster. All the Pentagon and the missile defense systems and all the people that support this monstrosity of over $800 billion would support it, because it just mean they could sell more defense systems, and more congressmen who have stock in those companies, both parties, would get fatter.
You don't think there's anything to be concerned about? You think it was just in there for that fluff to get the money, not because there's something concerning about the fact that we could?
Oh well, we know we know they're gearing up, and the reason they're gearing up because we're so dadgum weak. We're throwing 114 billion unchecked dollars to Ukraine, and then we don't even throw a penny at our own border. We do it by more lawyers to allow more illegals to get in. We have 300,000 kids. 100,000 kids in the last 3 years that have gone and come into this country. We don't know where the heck they are. That ought to be very concerning. If I was in the White House, if I had a conscience, which I do, I would be mad as hell about that. But the White House won't do anything about it.
Congressman, on the border,
or whatever. Go ahead, dude.
Do you drink Celsius?
No,
just
not
coffee.
Tap water.
Well, I'm not asking you. You said the speaker's got this word, but this is another deal with the Senate. A lot of you aren't pleased about.
Oh, I'm not pleased about
Like going into 2024, you've dealt with all these deals with the Senate that you guys aren't happy about. How do you make sure in 2024 that this doesn't continue? That you don't just continue?
The speaker doesn't lie to me is one thing, and he has not lied to me. And I've had his ear, and I think we're moving in a good direction there. I just not fast enough. Hey, baby, what's up?
So it seems like y'all just got screwed on the NDAA.
Oh, we got huge, man. The Uniparty won once again, but I knew they would.
What do you like? How do you look at this year in review in regards to UAPs?
Exactly what I expected.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got the public got ripped off. We got screwed.
Well, you did get
But I
that
knew we
public
would.
hearing with Brush.
Dude, you missed my resignation.
We got him in the Midwest, man.
I'm leaving the Mr. World competition this year. All of steroid guys, I just can't do
What
that.
happened to Ferguson? Why is Ferguson out?
Who? Drew?
Drew, he's out. He really did.
What?
He really
I
did
always like
quit
seeing
this
him in the
place.
gym because I always look better than him. Drew's getting out?
Drew's out.
You got that new wife? Huh. Well, he's a dentist. He can make a living.
So
I got to go back to modeling.
Back to it.
Go ahead, dude.
Well, so you guys did get the David Grush public testimony.
Yeah, that was a success. But it got the talk out, and it's more mainstream. And like I said to the UFO people, I said, one thing we accomplished in all this was, we validated what you all think, and you're not just some fringe group. And I had more people come up to me and thank me for saying that. And these are folks that are just regular people.
Yeah.
And I've had very successful, wealthy people come to me and tell me about UFO experiences, stuff they've seen as a kid or when they were in the military, and they're just afraid to say anything. And I get it. I'm just not afraid of that crap. I don't care anymore.
Then after the Grush testimony, then it seems like night and day. Then there was this pressure exerted.
And then you saw Schumer even admitted on the floor that he's been told by multiple sources that there's alien matter out there and that it's being kept from us, and he's not happy about it. But the Uniparty wins, dude.
But do you trust Schumer?
I don't trust anybody, dude. I mean, this thing, honestly, because everybody, it's Brer Rabbit. Oh, don't throw me in that briar patch, dude. And then that's where they want to be. Because just look at the missile defense system. Who's giving money? I mean, the war machine. They're getting fat. Whatever this has, if they're just using it to circumvent Congress oversight, whatever they're doing with it, it's a real thing, I think.
But now,
Who are you with?
head
You
of
with
Arrow.
him?
No, with the Examiner.
Oh, okay.
I'm just, I've been following the Grush stuff pretty close.
Grush is a good dude. We talk. We try to talk regular.
What do you? So you guys come back. I believe it's January 12th. You guys get to go in the skiff and actually read his IT report.
Allegedly.
So you're still not buying it until you.
I'm still not buying it even if I see it. Is that really his stuff, And
Are you? But that is confirmed as of now.
yeah, I think it's January 6th or 7th.
I think it's the 12th. I'll check though. But
Yeah.
I think it's the 12th.
Okay. Yeah.
But I'll look. That's for staff. Do you what do you guys hope to get out of that? Do you think that's gonna empower you guys further to know where bodies are hidden in the Pentagon or wherever?
Yeah, we'll go further with it. It just won't matter. I just don't think it's going to matter. We're going to have, we got to have somebody walk out with some physical evidence somewhere at one of these non-governmental labs.
You see,
that have
Well, that's
getting millions of our dollars.
well, that's a pretty pessimistic reading.
Yeah.
That's where you're at.
Yeah. I just don't trust it. Hey, man, Merry Christmas to you. Hey, try not to say that thing about me saying, Swift being psych. I didn't mean it like that. I didn't mean it like that. I meant like, she's just so confined. And it's just, I've seen her and know some people. I'm from Tennessee, so.
You would vote for her if she ran for president. You'd be forced to.
No. I wouldn't vote for me if I ran for president.
Hey, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, dude. How'd the skateboard race go?
We're gonna reschedule it.
Great. Okay, because I got to get my skateboard. I'm
Bring
making
it
a
here.
new one. I'm making a new one.
Bring it here.
I'm going to. It's going to be cool.
This is serious stuff.
But I got to get my bamboo and I got to get my technology right. See you guys. Love you guys. Merry Christmas. You good?
Wait, a couple more questions.
All right.
Because I'm going to see you for a moment.
Walk with me because I got to go to the bathroom since I'm old.
But do you, heading into the new year, like, do you see it as any progress?
Yeah,
What was
I mean, we're
left
getting
in
closer,
NDAA?
but they just like the NDAA, they just took a huge roadblock for us. But I knew they were going to do it. But then again, like I said, I wouldn't have trusted them if they said we're going to show you everything. They're not going to show us everything.
Have you asked for a meeting with Schumer or his people?
No, but I'm fixing to. But I'm the 435th most powerful member of Congress. I'd probably meet with his junior staffer.
You're that high?
Have you talked?
435, yeah.
Have you talked to the new people
I'm
at Arrow?
No, I ain't talked to any of those cats.
No. What do you think about
It's all theoretical, right?
Kirkpatrick being out? Is that good?
I think it's a positive. But again, I don't think it really matters.
Yeah.
I don't think it matters because it's just another roadblock we're going to get. Somebody's going to get in there and they're going to say, we're going to do it, and then they whisper in their ear. See you, brother. Merry Christmas.
But doesn't
Merry Christmas, baby. Love you, brother. Thank you.
God's blessing on
Arrow
you.
doesn't Arrow give you a little bit oversight and leverage?
Yeah, a little bit, but it's just you got a government entity going to tell another government entity what to do.
Yeah.
Brother, it doesn't work. It just doesn't work.
There you go. Well,
Merry Christmas, brother. You're
Merry
a stand-up
Christmas.
dude, man.
I'll see you in the new year.
You need me, you call me on anything.
Yes, sir.
You're a good man.
You know it, brother. Appreciate
Hey,
you.
what are you doing for Christmas?
He knows. Hang out with my pup.
Good. See you, brother.
How's it going, dog? How's it going? Happy holidays, man. I'll see you.